Live, Nuke.
What were you saying about being stretched out nicely, Jack?
It was referring to Cappy's boyfriend.
Oh my God. Well, guys, we're here. We were just talking about wholesome things like VR and all that. Thor was giving us a lesson on how he uses VR to enjoy life, you know.
And Fitch is the new Bob
that I'm
Ross.
using.
Fitch is going to be our new painter. I think Fitch should just go out and paint. Okay, we got a little bit of a landscape here. I mean, a little bit of trees.
I get a little bit artsy fartsy. I make little stone sculptures. I've worked with clay in the past. I've painted pictures. I'm just painting like a bathroom stuff this weekend. It's not like
dude, Fitch, I would pay you for one of your paintings. Like, you give me a no joke Bob, or like a fish special. On the outside chance you actually end up becoming famous, I got the original Fitch painting, and it could be absolute shit. But if you actually found like you got a penchant for this and you become some world-class painter, I'd love to have it in my garage. A Fitch original.
Can you imagine Fitch doing like classic fight stills and here we're gonna paint a little bit of blood and there's a bit of skull.
That would actually be, that would actually be probably pretty
right
cool.
Here. You see the teeth flying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta put this. I'm gonna put something in the private chat here.
Oh God.
You got a picture that you painted?
No, it's art. It's art.
Let me take
These
a
are
look.
sculptures.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, you made that little monkey thing, Fitch?
Yes, I did.
Wow, look at holy shit.
Wait, it's in the private chat.
Yeah, and that has that Anunnaki feel to it there, John.
Oh, pretty cool.
Huh.
Oh shit!
Right.
I never
You got
knew about
lapidary
this.
equipment. Look at this. Shit,
Nice.
Fitch, you never told us about this.
I'm not very
make
good
a
at marketing, guys.
A
pretty
fat
terrible at
woman
marketing.
statue. Of course, there's a fat woman statue. Sure.
What do they say about a warrior in a garden? There you go.
You'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
It's interesting because like every guy, as we get older, we kind of like DMX. Remember the rapper? He was a very violent rapper, but now he started like taking care of orchids before he died. He had like an orchid garden, and he would just talk about like philosophy about flowers. And I'm like, man, some guys just as they get older, they just want peace, man.
Dude, Mike Tyson is pigeons.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know why that is, Nuke?
Why is that?
Because people are assholes. That's why. Like this whole idea, like when you're young and 18, you're like, oh, nightclubs, oh, I'm gonna go out, oh, girls, And then if you get old enough, you realize most people are assholes.
Yep.
Most people aren't worth the time. Most people are not worth shitting on their face.
Mhm.
They
They're
honest to
mostly
God
know-it-alls.
they are not worth my feces. And then that's why, you get the samurai who's war torn and battle weary, and he could kill everyone with one fell swoop, but he's tending to his bonsai tree and want to be very left. I absolutely get how people go into a monk mode where like there's too much. Dealing with people is too much. I want to deal with feeding the ducks or whatever.
I want to walk my dog and be left the hell
There's
alone.
a couple facets to that, Cappy, that I've noticed over the years. Is that starts out most people become know-it-alls and know fucking nothing. They don't know anything.
Well, that's the
Before they're happy
problem.
to tell you their
What's
opinions,
that thing
and
called
they're
when somebody has a little bit of
broadcast that out
success?
there, and then there's this level of incompetency that goes with it. That's the second part. I notice a lot of incompetence out there coupled with this know-it-all situation. John, I'm sorry, did I step on you?
Oh no, you're fine. No, I was saying that to go along with that. I think some people, when they have a little bit of success in one area, they think they know everything in all areas. Like a rapper sings a song and he gets famous for that one rap song, and now he's talking about politics.
Yeah.
Or destiny on dating.
Ha!
Yes.
I don't have a grudge with the guy. I just noticed it.
100%.
He's funny because he immediately has those issues, and then if you're in any sort of long-term relationship, he discounts it all unless you have experience. Now, if you have experience, then he discounts it by using the fallacy that, well, you've been out of the mix too long, so you don't know. So
Okay, can we just please stop talking about him?
I was using him as an example. But one other thing, Fitch, a lot of people look at Fitch and say, man, what a dumb looking guy. But I know Fitch, he's actually got some intelligence in there. You can't let his looks fool you. But you were saying how every
Fitch smash, Fitch think.
Yeah, you gotta lower their expectations, man.
Right.
That's one of the 48 laws of power. Never seem as intelligent as you are.
That's
know?
why he
The
dresses so
sucker-
dope. Look at him. He dresses like a dope. No one's going to assume he's like got an intelligence.
Well, hold on.
behind
We
him.
were talking about clothes before you came in, Cappy. We were like connecting over like what we wear, and we were talking about how men, we find a shirt that we like, we'll buy 5 of them in 5
Right.
in
different
different
Let
colors.
me
and that's
continue
it.
on with my compliment of Fitch. I did the slam part. I didn't get to the compliment part, but Fitch actually said something intelligence once, and it was that everything is fake on the internet, and kind of not only is everyone an expert, is everyone an asshole, but especially now you start realizing like everything is so fake that it's like, okay, I can, if it is fake, if it is not true, if society is telling me things that are not true or false prophets or fake experts, I have no reason to invest in any of this. And I think it's very taxing and exhausting to the average person. It's even worse for people who don't wake up and still believe, girls on TikTok are 100% sincere. And so,
Speaking of,
yeah.
That's the topic.
So here we are, the year of our Lord
Lord.
2024.
the year of our Lord.
Yeah. And the tradcons are at it again, and people in general are at it again with one of the phrases that we've talked about ad nauseum in this red pill stuff called, and we, they say pornography is bad, but not only bad, which we agree, it's evil. Your dick will fall off. You will, the future of the nation is in the balance and all that stuff, right? Meanwhile, we have this other issue called social media, right? And it's literally actually consequential to the future of the world. But they always turn these issues to men and shaming our sexuality, saying that we're this and that, and we should be like wild, like we're like they treat us like wild animals that should be caged because our innate way of being is bad, right? And the proxy to that is saying, hey, porn is bad, right? So it's been the next firestorm and the next big discussion. I think started with Candace Owens just dropping the whole the old reliable porn bad, old reliable, and a lot of people are just like, yeah, and but we look at the stats, whether you believe them or not, like Christian men are the biggest married men are the ones using this stuff the most, right? You're thinking, why would a married man use pornography? Like, and then you look at the obesity stats, 60%, which I think it's much higher. I think it's like 75% of women are obese. So it's like, or overweight. It's just like, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's starting to make sense, right? But since we're men, we can't really look at these things and call it how we see it. We need to run it through some genie-looking scientist with a beard on his chin to tell us that we actually are wrong and that you need to listen to him and his science. So I came up with I want to say theory, but I came up with a comparison where while yes, pornography is bad for you, like objectively, there's not much positives that come out besides maybe it keeps the guys that don't want to date sedated and not burning buildings and rioting in the streets, right? I think social media is 100 times, if not more, worse than what pornography is to men. And we can see examples of this all the time where ultimately what keeps men kind of like men have to feel the consequences of their porn usage almost immediately, right? You jerk off and then within seconds you feel shame. You're just like, what did I do? Like, I could have gone on a date. I could have.
You guys feel shame? What?
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about?
But the average guy isn't. Yeah, but like if someone walks in on you while you're doing it, you're just like, oh God, like, or you delete your history. Guys will delete their history. Like when I was 12 years old and the slow loading boobs online, I look up guides on 4chan on how to delete your history correctly in case my dad looked up, found out I was looking at it, because there is an innate shame, But for women, there is no shame. There is no bottom. There's nothing that tell most conventions allow women to do crazy things on social media, and everyone's going to be like, yeah. So starting with Thor, why is it that women will turn the blame for society's ending, society's state, right, to pornography rather than say, hey, women's social media usage isn't that great either? What do you think that is?
Porn's a perennial bad guy. I mean, it fits perfectly in with Marxism. It's the oppressed oppressor. And we fall into it too. We jump out and we say, porn's bad, porn's bad. Well, we're just making it the oppressor of young men. They're adult men. They can decide for themselves, just like any alcohol's bad too. You can overuse it. Porn has become a tool and it's overused. Is that bad? Yes. It's bad for the individuals, but it's also an opportunity for those that believe in socialism to call it out as horrible. Even the neoconservatives or the traditional conservatives are out there make this the scapegoat for the actual actions that the men choose to take. Why are they choosing to take it? Well, there's plenty of blame to go around. Some of them choose to use this because they don't want to cheat and they think that they can get away with this, fulfill their natural needs. And in some ways they do, and yet physically they haven't cheated on their wives. That's why you see a lot of these religious gals saying even looking at porn is cheating, and they jump to some verse in the Bible that actually isn't translated well, but just the thought of lust is cheating, something like that. And they use it as a hammer to hammer these guys down even further. It's funny. A lot of these traditional conservatives don't think they're feminists or even fall into that Marxist category, but they use these tools to apply those principles and to get social change. There's been porn since the beginning of time. They scrawled it on the walls in
The naked
Pompeii.
woman on the caves. Yep.
Mitch,
The little,
had
the
Fitch
little,
makes-
little stone statue.
Fitch
You're not
makes
gonna, the
porn
way you
sta-
solve this is to educate people as a tool, and if you overuse it, you're going to be in trouble. Or just make your own like me.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say there too, Thor. Porn's not bad. It's watching porn that you're not in that's bad.
Exactly.
If,
It's just like
if these conservative Christian women would do sex stuff with their husbands and film it, and they had that to look at.
you know what's
problem
really interesting? If you revealed the fantasy lives
Oh,
of women, such as in the book My Secret Garden by Nancy Friday, if you're a man out there, I'll throw this out as actionable information. Read it. It was compiled during the late 70s and 80s by tape and by letter. And anonymously, women would give out their fantasies to this Nancy Friday, and she compiled a book on it. It's pretty startling what fantasy lives women will lead. And the reason I'm bringing this up is most men could never fathom the depths that the women will go to become sexually aroused. And they need to do that. It's part of them, obviously. And I think that social media lends itself towards that fantasy. Look at the attention I'm getting, even if it's at a distance. Now, today, a lot of women will actually make these things happen in real life because that's the next thing to do, But yeah, it's definitely that fantasy life of women far surpasses what's available in porn legally today.
Yeah, I think it's much more reinforced and there is no like crossover to real life for guys that consume
No.
this pornography stuff. Like only the worst, like maybe 500 addicts in this country will go to a convention just to like put their hand on their favorite actress's boob. But like most guys will be like, all right, I'm done going back to work, going to do, or like, I'm going to go do this, or, it's not real. I'll never have a girl like that. That's what they think, right?
Get this poison out of me. I got shit to do.
Yeah. Well, whereas a girl, she'll post her family, her kids, like babies on Twitter, not like on Facebook or where their family can see their family members can see the newborn on Twitter, and that's their brand. Like, I had a baby, and I'm like, there's going to be landmark cases in the future, right, where kids are going to be like, hey, you documented my whole life on social media. That's illegal. Like, there's going to be like a precedent set in probably Supreme Court where kids are going to start suing their parents for documenting their whole life, every intimate moment on social media, But Cappy, our economics specialist, why do you think it's they're trying to minimize the effects or minimize the downstream effects of social media on women and maximize the downstream effects of pornography on men?
I have a question for you to kind of inform the overall context of the conversation we're having. I know you don't speak for them, but what are women's main complaints about porn? Is that married men are jerking off to porn and not having sex with their wives? Is that the main complaint, or is it the tradcon, just generalist?
It makes us creepy.
Bad, okay.
Sexually emboldens men to hurt women. That's probably their biggest complaint. They think that if we watch some girl getting her face destroyed or something,
the girls are the ones who watch the most violent porn.
Exactly, which is
they search for that violent porn. They absolutely do.
So that's one. Their
Sexual
main
violence.
concern. Their
Yeah.
main concern is quite the opposite. Prawn has had the effect of lessening action in the real world because men get it off, and then they aren't like Thor said. I got shit to do. Even if that shit is snorting Adderall and playing video games. If you look at the cases of going down, it goes down, but it jumped up in 2012. But there's reporting issues on that. But that is so it's a false concern.
I think
but then
because
when it
the female actresses aren't fat, that might bother them too.
The competition.
It's unrealistic bodies and whatever.
Yeah, eating at a caloric deficit for 6 months and losing weight and becoming hot is unrealistic.
Right, but to get back to the main,
Also a lot of young women too. So you have older women who are upset because they can't compete.
But let me ask you this, the panel, where women are like, oh, prawn is bad for men, but social media is perfectly fine for women. Are women even self-aware that there might be and that's the thing I was going to point out. For example, before the internet, women consumed copious amounts, and still do to this day, of Harlequin romance novels and filth trash books, essentially reading porn. Yep. And no one batted an eye at that because, it's books, it's the media, the medium by which it was. But if you looked at a Playboy magazine, oh my God, you're a perv, or you're just a dirty, shallow man. Just as people were unaware and lacked the self-awareness that, okay, women were consuming essentially porn via Harlequin romance movies or the books or 50 Shades of Grey or whatever. I think it's the same thing today with social media. What's wrong with Facebook? What's wrong with Instagram? And I'm actually kind of defending them a little bit. There's nothing obvious or vice-like about here's an app where I can post pictures and share with my family and friends. However, yes, it can become a vice, and especially with the online dating apps, have a warping effect and a very real effect on women and men and society, because it skews their viewpoint of dating and romance, and now, as Fresh and Fit have documented for many years, skewed their women's expectations to an untenable and impossible situation where the vast majority of dating and family formation and very real world consequences of economic collapse and all that other stuff are now a reality. But my question would be, are women even aware that doing TikTok videos and getting are they aware that this actually is a vice and is bad, probably even to the point that it's worse than prawn? Because as we've established, or at least we theorize, men use prawn to rub one out, get it done and over with, and move on. It looks like younger women, younger generation, kind of stew and have their entire life philosophy informed and baked by this. And so I'd say, yeah, it is a lot worse ramifications for women over consuming social media than it is men jerking off the porn.
Even worse, Cappy. Like, the women see this stuff and it rots them, and they start behaving in bad ways that are going to negatively affect their life. But it also affects the low value men who will do anything to get those women's attention. So now you have women who are being rotten, and the loser dudes, the sexual storks, who will follow them and do whatever they say and go along with whatever they want. Yeah. So I think it is way worse for society, because at least the porn addict's just sitting in his basement.
But then let me point this out. Then is social media not just as bad for men and the simps and all that who start to follow these girls? They have these pair out relationships. I have plenty of clients now where I got a girlfriend. Let me finish. I got a girlfriend. I have some questions. All right, cool. Well, what's she like? Well, she lives in Peru. Where are you? I'm in New York. What the fuck? And so I would say the social media is having a way more negative effect on both men and women than porn is on men.
But okay, let me phrase it like this. Men have never killed themselves over porn, and plenty of women have offed themselves because of social media.
Yeah, when the iPhone dropped, teenage female
self-deletion
self-deletion spiked. It was like that.
There's plenty
No one
of
talks
articles.
about it. No one cares. No one
women
talks
are
about it.
biggest bullies. Women are way bigger bullies to other women
but
than men are to
Not
men.
even that. Not even that. There are so many articles out there of like women who start this online branding thing, who want to become an influencer, and they just go mad because of themselves, because they're not getting sufficient likes on a photo they took 1,000 tries to take.
Yeah.
There's so many articles out there.
There was that. There's also
Depression.
like the mommy posters. There's one that like killed her kids. Was abusive and beat her kids up and shit.
Oh yeah.
Documentary about it.
There's so many of that. And then, of course, like the whole porn thing is nothing more than shaming men, because they're not giving us attention. They're giving their attention to a screen. Yet with women, it's the other way around, where it's like they need the attention from somewhere. So getting attention from a screen is fine. But as I just mentioned, I don't see guys killing themselves because of some virtual intercourse here. But I do see women offing themselves because of some thumbs up on a screen. Just saying.
Social acceptance is huge with women, much larger than it is with men.
Oh yeah, you want to raise your daughter? Teach her ostracism. That'll get her. It's like, whoa.
It boils down to how immediate the consequences are, right? Because again, if you could be a turbo simp, like Cappy says, and have a girlfriend 6 countries away, or constantly go on and follow IG thoughts and say, wow, you're so hot and all that stuff. But you know what's gonna happen? You're not gonna be attractive to women. Like immediately, you're not gonna be attractive to women. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna not have sex. You're not, people aren't gonna like you. People are gonna think you're weird. Like there are, at least within very short relative period amount of time, for women, it's pushed back for years, and then it collapses all on them all at once, right? No guy, like for women, like I remember that conversation that Rolo had with Dr. Red Pill or something, the plastic surgeon from Turkey.
Yeah.
The biggest request he would get from women, right, would be like, make me look like I do on social media, right? Yeah. So women are traveling 3,000 miles, 5,000 miles to go get their nose shaved, to get their their face completely changed, and have risky BBLs, and boobs are fine, but BBLs are really risky surgery, right?
Yeah.
And all that. So it's something you got to think about. And just so they can look like they do on social media, and then have a 1% chance of maybe getting pumped and dumped by one baller twice at a yacht party.
Guys, so I don't mean to go, but I've been having this debate with my girl for a while now. All right. Yeah. She believes that women mutilate themselves and take this risk for the BBLs because that's what men want, and they're trying to get these high value men. And I say, no, your average man. I've never talked to a high value man. I've never talked to a man who can get girls, who isn't a sexless dork, who likes it, who doesn't like a normal natural body over the fake plastic injected body, right? Yeah. Like guys who fuck like natural. That's my correlation. I can tell whether or not a guy fucks or not, whether or not if he cares about the BBL and the fake tits and all that stuff.
Hold it for
here.
What's a BBL? Just help us.
Brazilian butt lift.
They suck the fat out of
the big fat, the disgusting thing where you can fucking land a helicopter on it, and the girls have to like shift their hips to start walking because they're okay.
It's for guys with fast money. It attracts guys that get fast money, like crypto guys, athletes, stuff like that. They're into that shit.
But it's all like, so that's my thing, is like you have those guys like they're sexless dorks, and they put that out there because it gets them likes and whatever. And I say that's all driven by the female sexual competition. And like, look what I have, look what I could afford, right? And I was joking yesterday, these girls, because we were at the Sizzler yesterday. We had a great dinner at the Sizzler, me and my girl. She loved it.
Dude, I love Sizzler.
I haven't been to Sizzler in 20 years, and man, I had unlimited shrimp and steak. It was great.
Damn it, I love America.
I love there was more than likely had the BBL. And I was like, why's the girl with it's 10 grand for BBL? She's eating at the Sizzler. I was like, man, that means she's putting us on credit. That's on her credit card. I was like, we're gonna have a dystopian future when these girls are getting this put into debt for BBLs, and then they can't pay it. So then the repo man's coming. He's gonna chase him down and cast a net on him like running Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man.
This is great.
Catch him and pull him down and suck the fat out of their ass. It's not your fat anymore. You're late on your payment.
No, they actually eliminate the gunt in order to produce the BBL.
Really?
Yeah, so they relocate the gunt onto the back. Yeah.
No.
You guys
Why
know what
wouldn't
cunt
you? It
is,
makes
right?
perfect sense. Yeah.
One in
Oh, so
3,000.
that's why they always have a flat stomach and those grotesque
It should be
thighs.
called a gut
Yeah, they got to suck the
relocation
fat out from
surgery.
somewhere.
Yeah, so you
Oh.
could tell
A
that a
gunt
woman's had a
adjustment.
you can tell a woman's
Wow.
had a BBL. This is like Latino women. This is very pervasive in the Latino community.
What are you saying, Nuke?
If she has like a flat stomach and a big, like big kind of like ass that doesn't match the rest of the body,
And
Yeah.
and their thighs are toothpicks.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Nuke, the
Put some
non-white people in the
marshmallows.
country call that a booty.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
If she has like a double chin and like chubby arms, that's how you know. Because what happens is women don't have enough money to get all the fat all over their body. It's very expensive to get all of it. So they just say, just do the gunt and the and guess what, guys? Like one of the best parts about dating a fit woman, a woman that's physically fit, is the habits that go along with her being fit. Like a girl
athlete.
Yeah, a girl that gets these surgeries, she's probably gonna have to go back and get even more fat sucked out over time. Like she's not gonna get a BBL and all of a sudden, you know what? I'm gonna do 5x5 starting strength. Like she's not gonna do that. She's just gonna nothing's gonna change because there's no consequence.
Body fat percentage didn't change. Lean muscle mass didn't change.
No.
But that's what I don't get about the BBL. Like, okay, like Cappy and I need to be fake breast apologists here because we most definitely advocate for them.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with them.
Wrong
Get them while you're young. The under the muscle
because of all the trannies.
God damn it, Fitz, don't ruin it for it. But you can train your ass. Your ass you can train. Your glutes are muscles, you can train them. The BBL is like such a waste of money, but it shows you just how lazy people are. Just shows you how lazy people are. Where it's like, why don't you just go to the gym and train your ass? No, like your boobs, you can't train them. Like, okay, I can because, well, I'm a dude and things like that. We have pectoral muscles, but you can't train your tits bigger. You just can't. Your ass, you can. But here these girls are going into depth to get a larger.
But doesn't that support the thesis of today's topic? Is not only dating skewed and all that, but look at
men do not change their appearance because of porn.
Look at how not only in terms of dating, but what women will do to their bodies because of what's being said on social media. You're mutilating your body. By the way, you girls with the BBLs, you look ridiculous.
Yep.
You look like freaking animals. It's stupid.
That's what you get when you listen to hip hop.
Well, then the what else?
Oh, and then they were all gay all along, anyways.
And then related to this, to the BBL surgery, where you think big is beautiful, but then you go and get the surgery or Ozempic as the easy way out, and that's perfectly okay. I don't think there's. I think if we were to summarize it, there has never been such misinformation. You thought the boomers lied to the millennials about everything in life. The internet and social media has lied to women 10 times worse and about things that are just as important. And now when these girls are deployed into the real world with their BBL, but their triple chin, and they don't get success and they don't find a guy, you're going to be miserable and you're going to fail at life. Absolutely.
Now that we've covered kind of like the physical, like how social media affects women physically, like how they want to go out and get these egregious surgeries and all that stuff, on that topic, it makes me sad because sometimes I go to Salsa and I do see women that get these surgeries and all that stuff, but I'm like, why aren't you at a nice restaurant with a baller? I mean, isn't that why you got it? You didn't get it just to have it. There's a certain type of man you were going for, yet here you are dancing with regular men that are probably going to make less money than you, and you're probably
at the Sizzler.
Yeah, at the Sizzler,
Hey, Nuke, back to your point, do you think women downplay the extent that social media affects them?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so
My
John
girl
talks about this.
Yeah, I have a parallel to that in porn as well. I didn't have a chance to pull it, but did you guys ever read the study that looked at physical arousal traits where they actually put electrodes on genitals, heart rate, temperature, breathing, all of that stuff between men and women? Huge study group. They showed them pictures, porn pictures, right? They showed them porn and wanted to see what the physical responses were. Interestingly enough, men and women had different responses.
No way.
Men would become aroused if they were straight to straight porn. And they would sometimes become aroused at a lesser rate to bisexual women. If they were gay or homosexual, should I say, only the homosexual porn got them aroused. Women, on the other hand, exclusively were turned on by any type of sexual activity, hetero, gay, bisexual, even animals, and even more importantly, the sound called coital arousal, auditory arousal, the sound of having sex or the vocal intonations that are emitted during sex aroused the women almost exclusively.
Yeah, because women are dirty animals. They're way
Yeah,
dirtier than men.
Too bad they don't act on it.
Here's the part that draws the correlation. They would all deny they were aroused, yet the physical indicators showed it. Here is social media, and are you finding that they deny that it is much of an issue with them?
Dude, women lie all the time. All the time. They pretend there's some virgin tradcom bride. I never watch porn. Meanwhile, their fucking search history is worse than the.
That's why they tradcons. They're probably into some kinky stuff, and they have like weird relationships and all that stuff. Because I think there's a lot of sexual repression, and that's one thing I wanted to touch on today. Like, I think a lot of guys, one of the things they suffer from, and I think Troy talks about this, is sexual shame. Right? They look at themselves as a man, and they've been taught their whole life that the fact that they like attractive women is something that they should hide from the world. Like, you cannot. So what we do is these guys go on the internet and they say, they post pictures of hot women and all that stuff, but in their real life, they see a hot girl and they shrink as a man. They don't have that masculine bravado to talk to attractive women because they themselves have been shamed their whole life. And I think this is just a continuation of that, right? Whereas I am in the mindset that minimizing a problem, it helps you solve it faster and better, right? So if you look at pornography as some demon, soul-sucking kind of thing that will destroy the world, right? You're going to treat it as such, and you're going to struggle with it as such. But if you look at it as, hey, dude, it's just a sedation, go out and talk to real girls, and if the world says the world's trying to shame you because you have a sex drive, but dude, they don't understand. Like, women don't understand our sex drive. They never will, unless you inject them with 12 times the testosterone that they already have. They will never understand like how much control, self-restraint we have, right? And the world's trying to tell them, hey, your sexual drive and the way and the practical ways you solve it is wrong. You gotta solve it the way I want, on my terms, whenever I feel like it. That's basically what this is, right? No one's saying porn is like good, like thank God it's here, right? We're saying that this is just code word or code speak for I want to cage your sexuality and use it when it's convenient for me, like when I'm 30 and I have no other options, and control it because me, myself, as a woman, I have anxiety, meaning that if a guy watches porn, he might leave me because I'm not attractive enough, or now I have to be in shape. And that's basically what it boils down to. It's women don't like male expectation, and men are like, hey, I'm not getting laid, and I'm not I need to solve this problem. I got shit to do. I got yard work. I got to go to work. I got to go feed my dog. I got shit to do. So let me just take care of this and move the hell on with my life, right? And it's just another part of the longhouse, and they love saying it because it gets engagement. And the guys on the tradcon side are like, yeah, it's super evil because they think that calling this stuff out makes them a better man. Like no one cares, dude. Like you're married, bro. Congratulations. You have a kid. Congratulations. You're amazing, So yeah, that's basically how I see it in terms of like the bigger picture. And I had a metaphor, right, that I came up with a couple of days ago. Whereas like recently we saw that lawyer that got busted for doing cocaine, right? He's in lots of trouble. He's probably going to jail for a while. And the whole world is like, wow, dude, I can't believe you did that. You threw your whole life away, blah, 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 right? And he's ashamed. He's probably ashamed. He's looking at it like, what did I do? I shouldn't have done that. And then you have the common crackhead that you see on the way to work or on the way to the park with your kids, right? And you see that crackhead, and every day you walk by him, he like asks you for money, or he's smelly, and you're just tired of seeing him, and you wish the government would do something about him, but he's there. He just shows up from time to time. To guys that are sane, the men that use pornography are like that lawyer, where if he gets caught, he's gonna feel shame. He's gonna be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. That's messed up. Whereas the women that use social media and put their opinions, their half naked bodies while I'm just trying to look up like dogs on Instagram.
You
and all
could
of a sudden-
stop at opinions. That's worse enough.
yeah. Is the crackhead, because every day we have to open our social media apps, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and there's some girl doing something stupid that everyone just goes along with, right? Just like that crackhead. The crackhead could be yelling and peeing in public. Everyone's like, all right, okay, crackhead, I can't do anything. Police ain't taking you away. So that's the way I see it. I think a lot of guys see it like that, and we're getting tired. We're getting tired of that crackhead that's addicted to social media and constantly saying stupid things every day, and even changing the law so that we can have more crackheads on the streets. So
I would say it's a little bit worse than the crackhead, because at some level the crackhead knows that you shouldn't do crack, and that's why at some
Good
level
point.
they know that. I honestly don't think women, because it hit men too. It
They think they're
crack
doing the right thing.
they had look, in before Nuke was even born, they said drugs are bad. Okay, here's your brain on drugs. We knew drugs were bad. Social media had no, it was like, like some kind of, oh yeah, cocaine is fine, they put it in Coca-Cola back in the 1800s. Oh crap, there's some bad stuff to it. It's the same thing with social media. It was like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't malicious. So I don't think there was a cultural or social awareness that there would be these ramifications. Plus it was new technology. It had been, now that it's gone on, some of the people who maybe got an IQ above 85 can say, well, there's some drawbacks to this as well, but because of the innocuous nature and the non-malicious nature in which the origins of social media came about, I honestly don't think most women are aware that this is something bad. Like, oh, you shouldn't do heroin, that's bad, or you shouldn't assault people, that's bad. There's still this, well, what's wrong with Facebook? What's wrong with Instagram? And whereas perhaps heroin, the drawbacks are more or less immediately imminent, or the consequences are immediate. This is somewhere
Subtle. It's subtle.
It's subtle and long term. If you're if you're one of these gals like Teehee the bear, I choose the bear, Teehee, you are on a probably 15-year path where you will end up a miserable, lonely spinster. And that's when the lies then come out. Why I never wanted a man, I don't need no man. Or I find that's self-rationalization. But I don't think these girls are aware of the path that they're on, or the long-term effects social media is having on them.
I don't think so either. I mean, I had a similar experience last fall. I had never been on Twitter X. I signed up for Twitter X. It's social media, right? You interact with people. And I found myself having too goddamn much fun. I was arguing and slashing back at people in ways I never would in real life. And it was escalating, and I was really having fun. And then a few weeks went by and I went, I haven't done shit but do this. It's too fun. I'm having too much entertainment. And you could say, well, I'm getting mad or I'm pissing people off. It was just like this video game that I was playing, and it was escalating and escalating in such a subtle way. Finally, I just stopped, and I felt way better, and I got shit done. But it can creep up on anybody if you let it. I mean, why are you compelled to comment on somebody?
I mean, just look at the usage of SSRIs and antidepressants in women ever since Instagram was created. That's all you need to know.
Oh, it sneaks up on you. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like antidepressants in women skyrocketed as soon as Instagram became a thing.
And now we pay them. And now we pay them to be sad.
Yeah. So John, is this a conspiracy? Did they do it on purpose?
Man, there's a lot of things tied together.
Partially
because one thing they started doing, was it the 90s? Maybe Cap, you guys might remember. But when they started advertising prescription drugs on television, right? Yeah. They didn't always do that. They weren't allowed to do that. Now it's been a while. We've had prescription drugs sold to us on television, radio, and social media. Now you get the Hims ads and all these other types of things going on. So like you're bombarded with all of this, these algorithms that show you all this terrible shit, telling you, like for my girlfriend, like it's always stuff telling her like she needs to break up with her boyfriend. It's always like men are terrible, and if he's not doing this for you, he doesn't really love you, type of messaging. And then it's backed by, hey, buy this drug to make you feel better about it. Yeah. He doesn't love you. The world is terrible. You're too fat. You don't have this butt like this person. You're not rich enough. You don't have all these things. You're not eating at these restaurants.
I mean,
You
look at
you
the
didn't
Barbie
spend
movie.
$35,000 on a restaurant on a bill
Yeah.
at a restaurant.
Your
Feel
girl-
bad, and we
Yeah.
have the pills that will make you feel better.
Yeah, or ask your boyfriend for more shit, or like, do you really need that boyfriend, or you mean your boyfriend doesn't let you do this? Yeah, and you have to, as a guy, one of the new things you got to do in a relationship with younger women is to tell them, hey, TikTok is not real. You know, just because everyone's dumping their boyfriend after the Barbie movie doesn't mean we have to break up because I'm not treating you the way that, or you know,
ignore him to make him chase you.
Yeah, all that bad female dating advice, and you got to come home after a day of work, and she's just going to present you this stuff, right? And it creates another dimension of, you know, making relationships difficult. Obviously, you know, we understand that women, what they say and what they do are completely two different things, but most guys don't, and there's going to be a lot of like.
They also, man, like my girl will will have a Fresh and Fit clip or the whatever clip pop up on her stream, and she'll get pissed at this, and she'll start yelling at me like, "You guys all want this," and yeah. I'm like, babe, like it's not me. I'm not Fresh and Fit. I'm not the whatever guys. That's
man,
exactly.
I hate that so much when women do that, where it's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I get in trouble for some shit they said.
And I also tell the guys too, like
it's the equivalent of your girl having a nightmare that you cheated on her, and she wakes up, she's pissed at you.
They all do that. They all do that occasionally.
Like you have a living, breathing guy next to you who like chooses to be with you, yet you choose to watch this vile garbage and project what they say onto him. It's like distinguish reality from what you see on the screen. Thank you very much. It's like, for fuck's sake.
See, I can't feel sorry for you guys because you don't follow my rule.
You don't have a heart.
I just keep my girlfriend chained in the basement. I don't let her watch TV or let her out. I mean,
That's
sometimes
fair.
I let her out on the leash.
But
you guys let them form opinions and watch TV, and you just keep them in that basement.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's all you have.
You just
to
keep
do.
it lotion for
I don't
their
have a
skin,
basement.
right?
Mine's locked in the house. Like
yeah. Let me I traffic mine, you know, I traffic them across. No, I'm just kidding. But
Jeez, okay. This is getting too dark, man. I thought I was pretty dark with the
We're
basement.
just kidding, ladies. We love you.
I don't
please,
chain my girlfriend to the basement.
Well, just kidding, ladies. We love you. Just please lay off the TikTok. Please log off.
But what
please,
did Red Hawk used to say? The first thing I will do when I become president is get women off of social media or something.
Until we figure out what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's read some super chats. We got Nonstop Dre for the $5. What does Cappy preference in women and Subway have in common? Both have footlongs with double meat. Did you hear APA made liking skinny women a disorder? No way. Is that really?
Well, really? Real? Hang on, I'll look it up.
Oh my God. That would be that would be on brand.
That was my prediction for this year. They're going to start pathologizing men's preferences.
Oh no! And just when the Victoria's Secret fashion show came back.
Mm-hmm. Excel Self with the $9.99. Dang, Nuclear just fried them with their extra fat. LOL, the chicks with the diaper butt. Yeah, ladies, like if you're gonna do the BBL and risk all that, first off, learn some games. So when you do have that millionaire in front of you that's gonna pump and dump you, at least you can keep them for at least a couple weeks, you know. And number two, like make sure your thighs match. Don't get this freaking, you know, do us a favor because everyone else, us normal dudes, have to see that shit all the time, and we're tired of it.
It's like marshmallows on toothpicks.
Yeah. All right. So we got Julian Reyes with the $4 for the cost. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And then we now shop Dre again. Women find Bluey the animated dog hot. Look it up. I don't want to look it up. I don't want to look it up.
That was one girl on the podcast, and she was like, "Yeah, you know Bluey? He's got like a dad voice," and she means the voice actor. And shit.
Yeah, enough internet for today. I'm gonna go for a hike and have.
Yeah,
I looked it up real quick. That APA's thing. Nothing obvious on the internet. So for the super chatter, if you want to send it. Because I'm not. It's not that I don't believe it, but they are going that way. They want to make male nature criminal and something that you could be arrested for.
I actually do. I mean, you can hear them today. I mean, I've catch clips here and there, and one thing I'm noticing is, especially with the females that go on a lot of these, even the female. I even watched one female so-called psychologist say, you know, the studies show, and she doesn't quote a study. She quotes a survey. This is a professional. There is a difference between a survey and a study. The studies are blind. You're usually blinded. They're peer reviewed, all that stuff. She says that to gain influence and credibility so that she can move her message forward, which is exactly like you say, it's to pathologize certain behavior that men have. And I
If
see this becoming really popular. Well, studies show this and studies show that, when almost all of them are nothing but surveys, and some of them in growing numbers are just surveys they did on X.
it's if you want to see a perfect example, go look up that research paper, that peril / diverting hate /
Oh yeah.
the researcher, like Adasha something,
Yeah.
I think East Indian or Pakistani name. His methodologies were a laughable joke. It's like, tell me you had an agenda and then just made up bullshit to fit the agenda. It's not even a sixth grader could look at some of these methodologies, you know, an N sample of 5. They are desperately trying to make normal male behavior a
Yep.
pathology or something that you need to be put in the DSM-5 or 8 or 10, whatever else.
And most of us don't have the intelligence to realize that when they do that, they're ringing a bell that can't get unrung. And that is the social media. They get it out there, they ring the bell. It can't be unrung. And what they hear and what people put in their mind is essentially, oh, a study showed it must be true, because of that fallacy that says a person of authority says something or looks a certain way, we immediately take them as credible.
Well, then if you look at general academic research in the social sciences, they're having a repeatability and therefore a veracity crisis.
Big time.
Where you can't even get, I think it's not even a third of these studies to repeat. So all that research is hog shit and horse shit. But but people are still conditioned,
Yep.
like, oh, someone's on CNN, it must be important. It's like, no, that's a liar.
That's how
CNN
deep
doesn't-
the operating
the internet-
condition goes.
that's
Is
that
we're
journalism.
filled with a bunch of makeup
Oh,
artists
oh my
on
God,
social media.
a doctorate or professor came up with a study. It must be real. It's like, no, it's as Fitch said, it's all fake. It is all
fake
fake
and
and gay.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, where this is where the whole porn clashes with women's social media habits, right? And it shows like how they don't really have a morality to stand on either. There's a video game website that we all know. It's called Twitch, right? And the thing with Twitch is that Twitch is who usually plays video games, right? Boys, some girls, but boys aged from 12 to like 50, right? And they said, hey, let's make a website where guys can stream video games and they can have followers and all that stuff. And it's going to be geared towards younger men, mostly of underage, right? Women started playing video games too. And, you know, Twitch is a social media website.
Mhm.
And these women, instead of just playing video games, they push the TOS in terms of nudity and sexuality to this absolute limit almost on a daily basis, right? So they say these conservative women are just like, porn is bad, right? But those boys went to a website to watch people play video games.
Yep.
That's it. But then they come in, these women come in, and they'll just debate. Like, if there was no guys that wanted porn, then it wouldn't exist, or whatever, you know, the causation, who did what. But
Yeah,
these
video
women
game
are
players
pushing
there first. And
yeah.
this is happening in combat sports. I talked about it in my show the other day, John Fisher Nothing. There was some fight on before the Lomachenko fight a few weeks ago. They had made no sense. The girl with the title had 6. She was 6-0. The other girl had never heard of them. The boxing fight was terrible. Like they weren't skilled. Why would this be on the co-main event with Lomachenko, right? And then they said it. Oh, this girl in her last fight, she made quite the stir when she went into weigh-ins with nothing but body paint on. Oh, so she got naked. So she got naked and she got put into this prime time position. So
They always get naked,
right?
Yeah.
And then on my feed yesterday there was a weigh-in. This fighter Paige Van Zant and whoever she's fighting. They both show up in lingerie for the weigh-in. Like we're trying to like watch fights and violence, and these chicks are turning it into porn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
We can't even get away from it. We have a male space. There, no, you can't just have male spaces. We have to be there too. And as soon as they get there, look, guys, tits, look.
in
ass,
all fairness, John, at least they give us what we want. You know, it's like, hey, you know what? At least they give us that.
But the thing is, if
time
we
and
want-
place. When I want to watch fights,
Hey,
I don't need tits and
Right.
ass.
I do
know.
get you.
and that's the thing. And that's the thing. There's this like morality thing where guys, you know, we're evil because we like boobs on the screen, right? But the thing
It's always
is,
the sexist stores like it.
yeah. But the thing is, the Twitch is for boys. It's for kids, right? Obviously, you know, there's adults on there, right? But there is a large part of young boys that go on these sites to watch people play video games or Fortnite or Roblox or whatever. And if you go, obviously after like years of pushback, they're finally changing the TOS and all that stuff, where like literal porn stars are on there, right? Half naked playing video games. Put in, not only that, they're not like showing a little bit of cleavage, right? Because as a boy, if you're 14, you see cleavage, it's not going to damage you, right? But they're like pushing the TOS to the absolute limit, to the point where Twitch has to have extremely strict like rules on what side of your breast you can show, right? Like you can show the outside, but you can't show the inside too much, and under boob is bad, blah blah. And the thing is, like, no one is like, there's no outrage for that, right? So that's why I say, where social media habits, it goes, there's no bottom, there is no morality. It's just they keep going. And if they want to show half naked women, or women that are just like one step away from being completely naked on the internet, or implying pornography, right? Because there's women that like, they wear like these shorts that they do all these crazy stuff to bypass the TOS, right? On a weekly basis, right? And no one's calling this out, because social media is bottomless. There is no morality. There's no shame. Guys feel innate shame when they see, because they know that they could be, it means that they're sexually incompetent. Like they couldn't go out there, for most guys, right? They couldn't go out there and get a girl that's the same, or their wife won't have sex with them. So they're like, they feel shame. And also I'm like, I'm doing this because I have to, not because, you know, I want to cheat on or I want to not fuck my wife, right? Unless she's fat, right? But on that point, you know, they have no leg to stand on. It's just like, okay, well, if porn is bad, and you know, like, let's go to these websites, you know, where they don't ask the age of boys or anyone using them for women to stop using, you know.
Archwinger had the best point. These stories about women shaming men never starts out with, hey, I fuck my husband 5 times a week and he still watches porn. No, it's always, my husband watches porn. It's like, I wonder why.
Skinny wives save lives. Skinny wives save lives.
Thick thighs don't.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. We want to contain it. Like, men understand that this stuff is not like for the public to know. So what we do, like in Texas, they just passed a law where you need age verification if you're going to use pornography. Obviously, the VPN spiked because no one wants to show their ID because there's shame, right? Like, no one wants to, like, hey, I want to use Pornhub. Hey, give us your ID, your license. No thanks. I would rather not.
Women inherently know that if they ban porn completely, it's up to them. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to put out to your husband. No more partying around and shit like that. Responsibility and things like that will finally catch up to you, because then
it's the conservative
you actually have to please your husband.
Never happen.
They just want to make.
It will never.
Obviously, the tradcon women, they just want to make better betas. Like, they don't want more masculine men. They just want better betas to serve them, right? So when they say, hey, we should ban porn, their belief is that men are going to start working harder. There's going to be like, we're all going to like get 2 more degrees and we're going to double our salaries. We're going to become all muscular and these awesome men. No, well, you know what we're going to do as a collective? We're going to be like, hey, will you fuck us now? And the girl's going to be like, I have a headache. And then they're going to divorce. And then it's going to be even worse, you know? So,
here's another
exponentially.
Here's another interesting aspect of that. Are you going to ban porn like drugs? I mean, it's just going to go underground,
like alcohol.
Yeah, with the internet. Yeah, sure. Okay,
unregulated.
Yeah, okay. You have fun with that. It's.
Go ahead.
The end. No, I'm just trying to articulate my thoughts.
No,
the lie, the lie that the internet is telling girls is that somewhere there, I think maybe what it is they think with less prawn, there's going to be all these men that will then bloom into alpha males, that their man just around the corner, like the absurdity of their expectations and like their logic is like, no, this isn't going to work.
It's not a chicken or the egg story. You know why men don't want to date? Because women have become insufferable.
There's that too.
Women have no agency. Women have no agency. So all this is an excuse for them to be terrible. That's all it is. They don't actually want anything to change. They don't want anybody to do anything. They don't want men to be better. They just want an excuse to be terrible.
Yes.
I
just
don't
wanna
know if
have
it's
fun.
no, I think they do want to have a guy. Now they may not want to work at it.
They want
I'll
to
grant
stay
you
They,
that.
fat.
they want a
wanna
guy.
stay
That's why they
lazy.
complain. That's
Right.
why they complain. They want a guy, but they don't want to do anything for it.
Well, but
Yes,
what they're
yes.
thinking is, and this
No
kind
one
of
has.
combines what you and Fitch are saying, is the onus or the R word responsibility is on men. Those wascally men need to stop looking at that prawn, and then they'll man up and marry us because they'll be so desperate for sex that they'll hit the gym and da da da. It's not, oh, maybe we should become more attractive. Let me ask you guys this. If you had the choice between having sex with a girl who's a 7.5 in the real world or jerking off to a girl who's a 7.5 in prawn, what would you prefer?
Gay
much
one in the
time do I
real
have?
world.
The real one, right? I mean, assuming there's not going to be like slash tires or where are we or what are we, just, that's
No,
simple
that
stuff.
starts at around a 9.
Right,
That's
right.
just-
But men would prefer to have a real girl. But how many 7.5s are there? How many women are making it so that sex is reasonably attainable?
Didn't you once make the whole like connection between GDP and female attractiveness?
Well, yeah, that's a given. Men run on sex and female beauty and the consequential children that come along. Usually having sex. But if you remove female youth and beauty from the population, maybe even turn them into adversarial or competitors and sometimes genuine people that hate men. Yeah, I mean the mode. It's more akin to taking the sun away from plants. If you want to completely demoralize your male population, it's no different. It's okay, fine. Turn the women to more or less what they are now. Overweight, not feminine, or just simply not feminine. It's the same thing as taking the sun away from plants. You're not going to have, and it's happened. Men have not grown. So I think women are misdiagnosing this whole thing. Well, if we just get rid of the prawn, then they'll all turn out to be like Hugh Jackman and Henry Cavill. And but it's at no point to give Fitch's point partial credit. At no point is it maybe we ought to get off our asses and become what men want. That's just off the table for the vast majority of women today, because that is subserviating themselves a bit to men and men's desires. And there's work involved in that too.
How much of this is women's fearing male expectations, right? How much of this is that they don't want guys to use this stuff because they feel like they're going to fail the man that they're with and she's going to get divorced and lose,
May not even be a conscious thought. It may be deeply ingrained in their subconscious.
Yeah.
Maybe just simple competition.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most of it. It's competition because
There's a lot of dread in there.
Yeah. It's not the right way to practice dread. Is probably the worst way, honestly. But
it is. It's like, oh yeah, you're not gonna give me the attention I want. I'm just gonna go get some porn and jerk off.
That is the very last thing that you step to do.
For the handful of women that are listening, your husband would rather fuck an attractive you than jerk off to an attractive digital image. You just have to be an attractive you.
He would rather have sex with a mid you than jerk off to a super high.
He a full point less than what. But are you going to stay physically attracted? Are you going to acknowledge men have preferences, hardwired preferences? Are you going to be physically attractive, and are you going to have sex? And there's no right or wrong answer. This is ultimately the question up to gals. Are you going to put in the effort to keep your husband attracted to you? Do you want to? If you don't, just get a divorce, be done with it, and it's over. Or be okay with your husband jerking off or finding a girl on the side. All right, but if you do really want, well, he's not a plant, he's not a rock, he's a human being that has certain tastes and preferences, and you must meet them. These are not optional. So I don't know where, but
that's right, Cappy. I mean, they don't even have to meet them 100%. Think of it this way too. Married gals out there and long-term relationship gals, you have an advantage that the other gals don't. If you just have the energy and even a part of that desire to make yourself attractive and aroused around him, he's wearing a set of something called wife goggles. And that gives you a tremendous advantage over your competition, and you fail to recognize it.
And here's another thing on top of the wife goggles. What you're in his presence, right? You spend time. So now you have the opportunity. You could become a pain in the ass, or you can be nice.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend is tremendously kind and sweet to me. She cooks all the time. She cleans, dotes on me. You're damn right. That makes me more attractive.
Doesn't
to
have
her.
opinions.
Keeps her. She knows to stay in the basement, not to try to escape. A lot of training went in.
She
But
uses a
no,
lot of lotion on her skin.
She doesn't
Yeah,
try to cut the chains or anything like that.
See,
knows
now you
the
guys are
difference
running. Now
between
you're
the
all
red
going. You're
shoes
all
and
running.
the blue shoes.
Anyway, you have the opportunity to also be nice and not nag and harp, and he's the enemy. And as you guys were talking about, some girl watched something on the whatever podcast and came back. You know, you do have, but me telling quote all the women of the world this is a small stream of piss into a hurricane that social media is telling them that you can have your cake and eat it. You could be, frankly, an insufferable fat bitch, and then you're entitled, you know, and to
You'll never get married. You'll be alone for the rest of your life.
Well,
because
let's say they're married, then, but yeah, my husband should also find me attractive, and he shouldn't jerk off to the prawn. It's an impossible situation. So it until the lies of the propaganda and essentially the modern day Oprah message, whoever's spewing it on the internet today, as opposed to television and Oprah in the 80s, until that message goes away, or women have a true enlightening, or an intellectual renaissance, we're like, wait a minute, this isn't working, and it's up to. But let's be very clear: the ball is in their court. This is, you know, because what are we going to do? Are we going to start chaining women to basements? Are we going to caveman and club them, drag them back to the cave? Like, no, this is it's too tiring for men to do that. Men right now, men got other issues like survival, inflation, rent, training, skills, jobs. There's more pressing matters of survival right now than to worry about catering and even achieving the whims of women's online expectations.
They're never going to be happy anyway. So,
right. I think discussions like this, men are starting, you know, and the internet is a very good magnifying glass. Men are starting to realize, I got to do what? Man, I got to eat. I got to make rent today.
You know, so it's interesting because one of the points I want to bring up. But first, I brought up the Twitch point because there's this discussion that we created this need, and that, you know, there's women get like you know, trafficked and all that stuff on because of, you know, pornography and all that stuff. But then you see women voluntarily going to spaces meant for children and young boys, and, you know, doing it just to get like $20 a week or something like that, right? So I wanted to talk about that, but also in other countries outside of the U.S., you know, maybe countries with different social conventions and rules in terms of relationships, pornography is not seen as so evil, nor is escorts, nor is any stuff like that, right? Because the number one thing that people are missing here is that women in the West do not want to understand men. They don't want to put the effort. They were never taught how men are, how we are, like our biological self, how we behave, right? So, for example, American trad influencer would be like, porn is bad, right? But she won't have sex with her husband, or thinks that men's sexual drive should be tamed, and they have to have discipline because God said so, right? Whereas in other even more Catholic countries like Mexico or Dominican Republic, or even overseas in Southeast Asia, wherever, women are like, they ask women, hey, if a guy goes to see an escort, is that cheating? Like Japan, this guy asked, it could be fake, you know, but they asked, and they're like, no, not really, because he doesn't love her. And I'm like, you understand men, right? And for women, the number one advantage women can have in dating is understanding men and getting over your own ego about how men are. Just like we do. We get over our ego about how women are. We don't say, hey, a woman didn't want me, she's an evil bitch. We say, hey, maybe I should have been more muscular, or maybe I just, you know, time and place, or maybe just she's, you know, whatever reason, right? We don't get in our feelings because girls reject us, right?
It's
but
only
women
years later when we're like, oh, dodge the bullet.
Yeah, exactly. But like for women overseas in other countries and different cultures, they understand the male sex drive. They make peace with it. They understand that, like, there are, you know, like, I've had friends when I was in college, when I was living in Puerto Rico, where their girlfriend found out that they, you know, the history, they had watched porn, and the girlfriend was like, yeah, whatever. Like, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a fight or anything, because she understood that men are horny creatures. She was probably on her period. She was probably maybe they were fighting and she wasn't in the mood, or whatever happened. Maybe their time was stress. There were stressful times, or family tragedy, and they just weren't in the mood to have sex. So he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go take care of this. Guess what? They still love each other. They're married. But he took action. He said, I love my girlfriend, but she doesn't want to have sex with me for some reason. I don't have the tools or knowledge to apply dread or use a red pill. I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to take care of this problem. I'm going to hide it, put it in this little box, and try my best for her not to find it, and see what happens with this relationship with this woman I have. They don't see it that way, right? They see it as this thing that is evil and we should shame men about. And women that don't understand men have the most trouble in relationships, right? Because they can only see men through their female lens. Hey, I'm a woman. I haven't had sex for 3 months. Why can't he do that? Because we have 12 times the testosterone you do. We literally are bound by this hormone that makes us want to kill, fuck, and construct pyramids and buildings. We have no choice. It's not my fault, right? However, we do practice discipline as guys. We're like, hey, we can't kill people. That's against the law. We probably don't want to. We can't build pyramids anymore.
We can choke the shit out of them.
And we can't just have sex with any girl we want. We have to do certain things, right? But the fact still stands. Women say this, they don't understand men, they don't want to understand men, and their relationships are going to suffer, and they're going to have a miserable existence because they're going to look at men and be like, why isn't he more like me?
Yeah, no, that's true.
I mean,
Sucks to be them.
Some of those countries, they also, some of them that you mentioned will teach women that happiness is not exclusive to their relationship with a man. And then here in the West, it's almost exclusively tied. If I'm unhappy, it's some man's fault. He's supposed to deliver happiness to me in a relationship.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. That's true. That is so true. How many women are there that are like these self-inflicted victims?
Yeah.
And how many guys dump them because they realize shit, I can't do this. I just can't. I've tried to help you, but you set the house ablaze every time yourself. And I tell you, stop playing with matches, and you keep playing with matches. And then years later, it's all men suck. It's like, no, you are a train wreck. You are a train wreck. Men tried to love you. Men wanted to be with you. You didn't want to be with yourself.
Yeah, let me are not trained to self-validate at all.
Let me just for everyone to understand, not necessarily us, but the audience. I think where it inevitably comes down to, and it's all men's fault, is if you look at what increasingly as younger generations go on and we have more and more technology, more and more things, women, I do believe, I don't think it's bullshit. I don't think women are that interested in men. Men are not women's number one priority. You look at polling and all that. However, they do more or less accomplish everything else that they want in life. And so when it comes time, say they're 32, 33, 34, okay, now it's time to get a man. That's the last piece to the puzzle to get there. That's the cherry on the sundae. But it'd be more akin to it's the engine in the airplane. We're like, okay, I got everything. And now I just need an engine in the airplane. It's like, okay, that's great. Everything that you put into the airplane was a non-sentient thing, a career, an education that you more or less had 100% control over getting. The engine, however, is another human being. And so I think these women's lives are not complete because the last thing they need to complete their lives, they have the full cake and not cake and eat it, to have it all. Now it requires convincing another human being that has their own tastes and preferences, who isn't a woman. They're like, well, I'm a strong, independent girl boss with a master's degree. Why doesn't he want to have babies with me? It's because that's not what he's interested in. And so now it's the last thing they can't get. And so it's incredibly frustrating to these women. And they just don't get it because they've gotten everything else before in the past. And that's where
I have to disagree. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, Cappy. I believe that women are boy crazy. Once they go through puberty, once they get that period when they're teenagers, they become boy crazy. But the thing is, what they're crazy about changes. Because if they weren't interested in men at all, they wouldn't be hoes. They wouldn't have all these single moms. They wouldn't be getting knocked up, teen moms and all this other stuff. They're boy crazy. The problem is their interest shifts. Like they're boy crazy about the bad boy and the danger and the excitement and all that stuff early. But then as they go on, then they start getting boy crazy about the long term, the guy who's going to take care of me and we're going to build this empire together and blah, blah, blah. But they're going about it the wrong way. They're acting like men, thinking they're going to attract the men that they want. Instead, like Rolo says, they become the men that they want but I
Okay,
still
cool.
think they're boy crazy, and that's why this TikTok problem and this social media
They
problem.
won't
is such
shut
a
up
big
about men.
problem.
Just
They won't shut up about men. If
So,
they were just,
but
if they weren't interested, they would just shut up and leave us alone.
our positions are not
They wouldn't
mutually
care about us
exclusive.
much
They're
anymore.
both very real. But what you're pointing out, they're two separate things. You absolutely are right that they're boy crazy and they want to go out with the bad boy and they're chasing the bad boy. That I would argue there's a little bit of sentience. You got to convince a man, but he's only interested in your physical looks and youth. So there's not really convincing another man to commit to you. So I would say that's your landing gear on the plane. They're still missing the engine, which is a committed husband down the life, death, doing part kind of to have the dream and all that. So you are right. They do like boys at a certain level, but when it comes to settling for the guy and settling down, they not only are they postponing it and unaware that that is not something you just order on Amazon and have it installed on the plane. You got to convince someone else to come along with you long term, and that's definitely now interacting and negotiating with a separate sentient human being that doesn't necessarily have the exact same interests and motivations that you do. And that is how hard is it for a girl to get laid? Not at all. Probably easier than going and getting a tank of gas. How hard is it for a girl to lock down a guy? That's really hard. And that's
Infinitely difficult. Yeah.
yeah. And I think I can't get the guy to commit. I got alpha widowed. That's where the frustration, and I would say a lot of their anger, frustration, and hatred sometimes the men comes from, is that they can't get that guy. And so where you get, just let me complete the thought. So you get women on one hand posing one way, saying, we don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent girl, da, da, da. But then they seem, well, why they're so obsessed about men. It's like, yes, because the one thing they didn't get, because they have not considered that's another human being. And so that's where you can have this seemingly diametrically opposed presentation or contradictory presentation with women's behavior on the internet.
And women don't realize that their PhD won't make them look better in a bikini.
Thor, you said you wanted to talk about UCLA whistleblower.
Yeah, I wanted to know if any of you guys have heard. It's just happened in the last 2 days. I know our good friend Joker had brought it up. Have you guys heard about the UCLA medical school whistleblower?
I'm not sure. Is this the thing where they're grading easier on certain students?
Well, it's worse than that. This is actually where a sense of fairness and all the things we talk about with gender here has come to a head several years ago in California. And the state produced a set of guidelines for DEI. And it was produced by universities. And here is a university, UCLA Med Center, world renowned for medical research. And they send their doctors everywhere, right? In just 2.5 years, well, let's just put it this way. Half of the medical students right now have failed basic medical competency as they graduate. They have done this, and this whistleblower has brought out the results. And just 3 years ago, before they implemented these new guidelines on DEI for admissions of students, it was only a third of what it is now. It was under 20% incompetent medically. Those people are coming out to treat you now. You have a 50% failure rate right out of the gate. And if you look, it's interesting. If you look, there's articles everywhere on Google about this, and this would make some good, stuff for you, Cappy, to look into, because they actually have data attached to it, stuff you'd be really familiar with, where they changed their policy with a new admissions officer in 2020 who was selected by the board because of her DEI to increase their
Black vagina. Am I guessing right? Black vagina?
Well, they definitely.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the person was selected not because of merit. They were selected because of traits. Well, they can fuck off and.
Yeah, and if you notice, they're using guidelines here in California. The reason I bring it up is they're going to use this everywhere. And this is actually going to result in danger to people. And they're bypassing the actual law that makes it illegal to discriminate admissions based upon race and gender. And because of DEI, these guidelines say they should do stuff, even though it's not a law. They're enacting it at this level. Your medical doctors will have incompetencies, but it's okay because they fit what we think is fair. And this is the women in charge. Have fun with this. I wanted to toss that out there. If you haven't seen it, I haven't even got halfway through it. And I'm like, Oh boy, it's right here in my backyard. It's coming to all of you guys soon. And this is a great example of actually taking these words and the fairness and turning it into something that's going to be really dangerous for you.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, take care of your health, because a lot of people are in the medical industry and they're not qualified. So take care of your health, guys.
Dude,
Hey,
not
man,
only
hey,
the medical industry,
COVID happened.
everywhere.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
You
No,
want
no,
the
but like,
If you're trusting the medical institutions at all today,
no.
I got a
No.
Advocacy is not valued. That's
Like
true.
what
You have to search.
it's like
for
what Nuke said. Nuke said it in Ryan's chat. Like the food pyramid was based on science. It's like, yeah, the food pyramid was also based on like what
Popular.
foods are cheap for food stamps. Anything the government says about health has been disproven. Why do you even care what any institution has to say about your health?
Well, that's what this show's about today, where like people are having like, oh, if you look at porn, it reduces gray matter in your brain. If you look at porn, your dick's gonna fall off. If you like, there was a time where like they told you if you masturbated, you have like hairy knuckles or something.
Oh yeah, you'll go blind.
Or you'll go blind or something like that. And again, my biggest thing to conclude the show, right, is I don't like to make mountains out of molehills, right? Porn is not the greatest thing for you, right? But it's not going to kill you. It's not going to destroy your country that you love. You know, it's something that you do. That it's a sedation, like video games, alcohol, and it's not the best use of your time sometimes. It probably ever, you know. And the thing is too that we have these words. Both sides shame it, right? There's the guys that say, oh, the women that call their men incels because they use it and all that stuff. But the thing about incel, just like every other container word, it boils down to people I don't like. You know, that's what they use it for. So when women call you an incel, right? It's just like what defines an incel? Is it a period of time? Is the guy serving overseas 8 months without having sex? Is he an incel? He would like to have sex, but he's in the desert on a ship somewhere in the Middle East, making sure you get your Amazon packages on time or something, right? Is the guy that is injured and he can't go out and meet women, is he an incel, right? Is the guy who is emotionally unable to connect with women because maybe he's traumatized, you know, maybe he had a divorce and he can't go on a date, he's too scared, you know? Like what period of time defines an incel too? And it's just like at the end of the day, you can call it how you see it, right? If you look at your past, maybe when you were younger, you used this stuff and you're just like, yeah, I used it, but I'm getting girls now and I have a wife and I'm happy and I'm crushing it at life. Turns out that it wasn't as bad as everyone's saying it is, because they're just like, if you use it, you're never going to be happy. You're going to be a gremlin living in a basement with hairy knuckles or something like that. Meanwhile, women that I know who got on social media are now getting surgeries to stay beautiful, are single or with men they don't want. It's obvious. And they're on the internet arguing with muscular, handsome, red pill men like all of us here for days, just to get $20 every 2 weeks on social media. And they have the audacity to look at you and said, hey, when you were deployed and you use that porn stuff, you're an evil person, right? So they can go fuck themselves. Let's go around the horn, guys. Let's read some super chats and then we'll go around the horn and we'll wrap this up.
Got to check, guys. Skull.
All right, Thor.
Yeah, Thor.
You too.
All right. Let's see. So we got Nonstop Dre with the $2. How soon until the attractive tax comes out? What do you think, Cappy? How soon?
It's already out.
Already
No, it is. There's a bachelor tax. It's called marriage in the divorce courts. Income. No, seriously, there is. I mean, an attractive tax already exists because attractive people tend to make more money. That's how it is. So they pay more in income tax. So it's kind of already there.
Oh, okay.
They might tax attractive women, but
they spend more, right? Because they like to spend more.
You could argue sales tax is already the traits and behaviors are already taxed in the United States more than you think. You just got you know, who buys Gucci handbags? Typically attractive women. They're paying a huge sales tax on that. So yeah,
Gotcha.
These things exist already.
Okay. Thank you. Unrealized thoughts with the $2 mail space will always be infiltrated by inclusion. Yep. It's just the reality of life and all that stuff. So
no, you could say no.
Yeah, you could always say no.
You say no. Just tell women no. Just say no. Like when the autists and the Spurs want to come into the D&D campaign. No, you're not allowed. Go cry. No, you're not allowed in.
But it's the same as this space. Like, oh, can we join you guys? No, fuck you.
No, fuck
Where's
off.
your work? Where's your body
I
of
wish
work?
men would learn the word no and use it.
I tell Cappy no all the time. Like, no, you're not getting
How
my
I get
news.
my dad asked,
Fuck
how'd
off.
you get such a nice girl? I said, I used the word no.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Socrates.
Boundaries, guys.
X Runner 55, $2. Women do not understand incentives. They do. They do. The thing is that,
Boundaries are sexy.
yeah, they understand that their agency is their sexuality, meaning that if you guys scroll through Instagram, like let's say, for example, John, he showed us a cool truck, the fucking dope ass truck. And we're like, hell yes, guys. And let's say you search that truck on Instagram and you're going through, eventually there's going to be some girl with her ass out posing with the truck, because they understand that if they want attention, they can't build the truck. They can pose in front of it with their ass out. That's the incentive. So,
Dude, like women could get away with so much if they blow their husbands often enough. He would say no less. It's true. Men would say no less if they get sucked off often enough. Or unfortunately, is it true? Because I can hear Cappy telling me right now, it's like most men are too pussy to say no. It's like, yeah, you're right about that too. It's like if your guy keeps telling you no, girls, you know what to do. Go down and he'll be nice.
yeah, he'll say no, but in a nicer way. No.
Exactly. No.
Nonstop Dre with another $2. Terrifically Money seems extremely happier than most guys.
No. TFM seems a lot of things, but happy is not one of them.
All right. We got Shark Tuz with the $10. Thank you, sir. Morning, gents. Here from Cappy's audience. If you ask me, more people need to read and learn from the book 1984. People not scared from that book tells you everything you need to know about them. Yep. We got Nonstop Dre with the with the $2. Cappy Superglue, GF flips sut. She stays thin and quiet.
She gets liquid food via.
It's like a hamster, just this thing that Cappy gives her.
It is actually quite the opposite. I'm very libertarian. I'm like, no, babe, you go do it. She'll go visit her family for 2 weeks.
Silence is so nice. I love silence.
It's amazing what happens when it's like you're free. It's like, hey, look, you want to run off with another guy? Fine, just let me know. All right, we're here voluntarily.
Cappy has a scale in front of his door that when his girlfriend leaves for a week and she comes back, it's like, before you come in.
There are weigh-ins. It's like if I'm here, if I'm in the relationship,
weight triggered.
Like policies, clauses in our contract. Yeah, no, but it be hot, have other shit going on, and say you can hang out, we can be together, but you're allowed to leave because it's like a dog. Do you want to capture a dog or let it go out and play? It'll come back. It'll come back if you treat it right.
What didn't James Sexton post this a while back on Twitter? He had a case, or he knew of a case where there was a prenup, and for every pound she gained, she would miss like $1,000 of alimony.
Good. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That was so based.
I tell guys, I have a theory that the guys who prefer thicker women, and when I say thicker, I mean critical mass. If 5 more pounds, and it's like you won't you won't be attracted to her. I think they just never been with a thin woman.
Dude, a friend of mine, his wife is like, till this day, she's worried about her weight. Where it's like, did I gain too much after my pregnancy and shit like that? It's like, that's the place where you want your woman to be,
dude. Thin women, bro, give them a chance, guys. For you thick pictures, give a thin women a chance, man. It's a different world.
Liking thick women is a cope.
Yeah.
It is. I said it. Come at me.
Yeah, you don't want to get in BBL territory either. Where are we? Women are more understanding and great where I'm at. He's probably
he's in the Middle East.
Okay.
He is.
Marriage causes divorce with the 2 pounds. IG causes divorce. Comparison is a thief of joy. Yep, there it is, guys. Basically, that's what the show boils down to. Women. I mean, social media.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you try to take porn away from guys, which Texas kind of did, right? Because it made you say, hey, if you want to use this stuff, you got to show your ID, bro, or get VPN, right? They made more hoops for men.
What, really?
Yeah.
Texas?
Yeah, Texas. And I think other states, but Texas was it was 3 months ago where they said, we don't want young boys and girls looking at this stuff. So if you want to use any of these hub sites, you gotta present your ID so we can prove that you're of age, right? And that's That's good because now at least kids aren't gonna be able to access this stuff as easily, right? They're gonna find a way. Like there's always a way. Nature finds a way, right? But at least it's a step in the right direction for like morality, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah, but that's the thing. Porn did more to keep marriages together than social media. It did more to keep marriages together than counseling ever did.
Yeah, and social media did more than anything in the universe to keep men and women apart and hating each other for decades. Like you could be the nicest, sweetest girl ready to get married. You grab a hold of social media and you'll push your age of marriage to like 35 because you just couldn't settle for a good guy that gave a shit about you. You had to just go to Miami and take pictures and get that 200 likes on one.
You gotta do what the normies are doing. You gotta fit in.
And you
can't
broke
be an
up,
outlier.
and you look at your boyfriend, and you're like, "Hey, this baller bought her girlfriend like a bouquet of roses in a G-Wagon. Why can't you treat me like that?"
Because the girl is 10 years younger than you.
And all that. But yeah. Matthew W with the 199 Cappy GF rent assistant fund. Jesus Christ. Dung is fun, $2. Cappy can give me the no song.
No.
No. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and wrap up. We're already at the hour and 25 mark. So let's make this wrap up useful, right? John.
Let's go.
We talked about it for an hour and a half, guys. Like, what do we say to the guys who are seeing both the effects of porn and
so guys, be aware. Everything online is FGR, fake, gay, retarded. Okay, don't get bent out of shape. Touch grass, touch ass, do stuff, build something. Have some hands-on hobbies that aren't just video games. All right, and don't lose hope. There are great women out there. Happy's got a girlfriend. I've got a girlfriend. Like there are diamonds in the rough. Don't think that us bitching about these psychopaths that are in the majority all day are all that's out there, and you should just give up and dive headfirst into porn, and that's where you're going to be safe. No, like live life. You're meant to have sex. You're meant to have a woman in your life, right? So don't lose hope. Okay, no matter how dark it seems out there are some shining stars, and if you're on it, you got your money, muscles, game, frame intact, you're going to be all right. You're going to make things happen, and you're going to be able to find somebody if you want somebody, right? You can live the life you want to live. That's why we're here. Like we want to give you center point of origin. We want to give you the tools that you can use, how you want to use them to live the life you want to live. You don't got to live like me. You don't got to live like Cappy. You don't got to live like Nuke or Jack. Do what you want to do, but these are the tools. They'll help you. Don't get bent out of shape. Know that this TikTok stuff is extra toxic. Instagram is extra toxic for these girls. It seems like the shorter the form, the content for the women to digest, the worse it is for them. Right? If they had to sit through like an hour-long thing, I think they would be less traumatized by what they're seeing. So don't get too bent out of shape about it. All right. Tell your girl, hey, everything you're looking at is fake, gay, and retarded. I love you. Let's go to Sizzler.
Sizzler, fuck! I need Sizzler.
I love you. Let's go to Sizzler. Fucking poetic.
That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. Yeah, you don't hate women. You spend too much time around them, right? And you let them shame you. You have to overcome that shame. So, Cappy,
mastery.
What do you got for the kids, Cappy? What do you got for the
All
kids?
right. Don't listen to girls on TikTok, and don't listen to girls like, oh, I choose the bear. I'm not saying women's opinion of men is glorious today either, but that's a overly negative view. But that being said, if you go out into the real world, like fish go touch grass, ask the girls out and just listen to what girls in the real world are telling you. Not even through words, but through actions. You see a cute girl, ask her out. She says no or flakes on you, cool, And the point I'm saying is whether it's online girls with delusional expectations and TikTok drama and all that other horse shit, or the girls are going to, and they're going to reject you in the real world. What you're going to find out is that your time is much better spent investing in yourself, especially if you're younger and you're getting established, you really don't have the time to be chasing after girls that either hate you on the internet or are not interested in you in the real world. Some girls will be interested. Nuke is a younger man. He goes out salsa dancing. He finds them. Fitch, you've asked out girls. Jack, he's had many, many homosexual lovers in Europe because that's a thing out there. But at no point in time should you be over investing. Women just shouldn't be the goal right now, especially if you're younger. You got life to live. Don't let this demoralize you, what you hear on the internet. Don't let women standing you up or rejecting you in the real world demoralize you. You got this life, you got things you got to do. And over time and asking enough girls out, your chances are good. Not perfect, but they're I don't know, they're average. If you go get the book of numbers, if there's certain things you do, you can read through that book, you're going to stand about a 50-50 shot at being happily married till death do you part, according to my best estimates, which of course there's plus or minus because they're estimates. But it's not hopeless. It's just please don't listen to the lying, mentally ill internet hewers. Don't just ignore them and get on with your life. That's what I recommend.
All right, thanks, Cappy. Jack.
So it's very simple. If you're not on Twitter, then stay off of it. If you're on Twitter and you see these women shaming guys for watching porn, just realize that most of these women are in insufferable, hateful relationships with their husband. Because if they were actually happy, they wouldn't be on Twitter. It's that fucking simple. They wouldn't be on Twitter shaming guys for watching porn. Other than that, if you like want to stop watching porn and just go out there and have a shot with women, work on yourself first, man. Like, start working out and you will already be miles ahead of the majority of people. Don't look at the gym and in the gym itself because like everybody's working on themselves there, but look around you when you go to work or when you're in a public transport or when you're on the road or in the grocery store. Most people are out of shape, things like that. And when you work on yourself, you will be miles ahead of attractiveness in that already. Learn a bit of game and you won't need porn anymore. But with the whole what we mentioned today, social media is worse for women than porn is for men. That's because it imprints all these weird ideas into women about weird dating tips, and it gets them engaged into things that aren't helpful. And you need to set some healthy boundaries when it comes to that, where it's like, babe, I am a real human being sitting right in front of you, and I don't have time for your internet fucking bullshit. We're in the real world. And that's where you have to be able to walk away. By the way, real quick, Nuke, I'm going to use this to plug. If you're a guy who's a fat fuck and doesn't know how to get into shape, I have a spot open for my personal accountability program. Personalized training program, diet plan, private Discord, form checks, and a monthly consultation. So if you need help with fitness, you can go there. And that's it from me. Go out there and slay, young son.
All right. Thanks, Jack. Final thoughts before we head out, guys. I just got to say, guys, you have a sex drive. You have a sex drive. You're going to like boobs until you're 70. There's nothing you can do about that unless you chemically castrate yourself, which you don't want to do that because you could die. There's nothing you can do. If you decide to be black pill, if you decide to be an incel, if you decide to fix this problem, whatever happens, you will always have, that's the constant in your life, right? Especially if you work out and take care of yourself, it's just going to get worse because you're going to like women more and more as time goes on, right? So the point is that these women don't give a shit about you. They say this, they don't give a fuck about you. They do not care. They're saying it because they themselves want engagement, clicks, and they love shaming men as a sport. And also, they don't want the competition, right? Porn is not the greatest sedation in the world, right? But it's not going to destroy your life, right? Unless it comes between you and your goals and stuff, right? And you're going to find that once you get that girlfriend or once you get those plates and you get, you start living life and you're in the real world touching grass, that porn is just a silly thing. It's silly. It's not a habit. It's not a bad habit. It's a silly thing that you did when you were younger because you didn't know better. But now that you have the means to get your needs satisfied, the world wants to shame you because no matter what you do, guys, whether you're married, have multiple women, or use porn, they're going to shame you anyway. So might as well do what the fuck you want. Be your own point of origin, because no matter what happens, no matter what religion these women are or what they do, they will never be fucking happy. So
So you're saying back when we jerked off when we were younger, like you mean when I was 48?
yeah, like when I was 32.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. All right.
But thanks, guys, and follow these guys too. All stand-up gentlemen, and
Unsubscribe from Nuke.
unsubscribe from Jack Napier, and subscribe to me. So all right, I'll talk to you later, and I'll talk to you guys after the credits. Let me roll credits, and we'll talk after the show.
Doodles.
Live Squad. Is that Tango on the beat?